All right, testing 1, 2, 3. I think we're live here. Testing 1, 2, 3. I think we're live here. All right, let's go ahead and open Blender. Get that up. All right, let's go ahead and open Blender. It's working. Okay. So let's see. Let's recap. There we go. That's not what I want. Maybe if I can get my window arrangement. All right. So where did we leave off? Oh, right, okay, so I was working in the mac and cheese bowl. I did a little bit of work off camera last night, and I got, let's see here. I started a whole new scene, and if you saw my short, I started working on kind of trying to make it rain. I guess I kind of did quite a bit off camera. I made a new bowl here. I realized, like, why did I use a subsurf cube? Why did I use a cube for that underneath? And so I used a cylinder instead now. It's a lot better of a mesh, but looks nice. Have that for the render, 3 for the render detail. But it doesn't look too bad. I also did a lot of material playing with. I figured out how to use the what's it called? What's it called? I figured out how to use the subsurf. That's it. I don't know why they named it radius. I'm sure there's a reason, but it's really a backing color. And for some reason, I know this happens with a few of the Blender things where it's upside down the color channels. I'm not exactly sure why. Should probably learn about that someday. But we got a little bit of a start here. So the problem I was ending on last night by myself, if you saw the short, was I couldn't get these instances to individually work as rigid bodies. And so they kind of just bounce like that before falling off the edge. Alright, we can do better. Let's plug in the scale here. The random scale values. Alright. Still not exactly sure what I'm gonna do for the background. It's kind of weird. The more you do like 3D stuff, the more you realize how much your brain fills in detail, and then when you try to make your will happen, like force your will into a scene or on paper or something like that, it ends up like you can't see it, or like you can't figure it out. And that is something that goes away easily with time, that you don't really keep. You can usually get it back easily if you just work at a constant rate for a while, but it is still a little bit tricky. Alright, so I tried realizing instances. Maybe if I do like I really don't think this is gonna work, but yeah, didn't figure. I didn't know if we could loop through them and realize each one separately. Okay. And then you can play around with the rigid body settings themselves. Hold on just a sec. All good. Hey, Baxter, come here. Hey, buddy. Check out my dog. Hey, bud. Alright. Okay, so I tried changing these. I didn't figure that would work. Convex. Deform. Final. It's interesting that it reacts differently for some reason. Well, I'm sure there's. So yeah, it's just acting as a box, basically. Okay, let's do some little research here. Okay, let's see. Realize, if you guys have an idea on how to fix this, comment it, and I'll see it here, hopefully. With rigid bodies. If not, we can do it the old way with arrays, but I really don't want to do it that way. I have a feeling what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to turn these all into actual objects. Ooh. Actually, you can just do simulation nodes. Okay. Just on transform geometry, and we want to move it down a certain amount. Let's just add two values together, and then we'll calculate. We'll kind of add delta. We'll add the y dropping value each loop, and then we'll calculate delta time. Because I'm assuming this runs faster than frames since they gave me a delta time. I'm assuming it's not a constant update loop. Okay, let's connect a value to that. Set to 1 value, add this is a starting value, and then this would be the actual value that we're adding on top of that. That will go into, well, we're gonna need to split the vector here. Combine XYZ. I always get mixed up because they're backwards. Yep. I think that's like the first time I've gotten that right. Alright. Then, oh wait, it's gonna go up, isn't it? Also, I probably should take off the, yeah, probably should take that off. There we go. Okay, south of rigid button. Alright, why is it, alright, the Z. And 1 is definitely too big. 0.1. 0.1. That's still really big. I'll work on that in just a second. Yay, it's flying up in the air. Yeah, I can see how this could be a little bit tricky. Let's forgo this idea. You could do like a for each loop for each instance and simulate and calculate, but I'm not gonna do that. I do not know how that will work. So we'll just have this. We'll duplicate and then we'll hide this instance of it just to keep it as a backup. Then apply this version and new, call it falling for now. Put everything in here. So I think we're gonna have to separate these into individual objects with loose parts here, and then each one of these is gonna have a very small mass. Probably can turn down the detail and resolution on these specifically. Well, there's not gonna be too many of them and they're falling. That should be fine, actually. Okay. That applied to every single one. Alright. Wait, what? I was afraid of that. Rigid body. Yeah, it's only applying to... Okay. Let's see. Hmm. Alright, yeah, let's just do it the way most prevalent to us, by just applying rigid body to the entire list of objects, and then we'll go from there. I mean, we could use particle physics, but it sounds terrible, actually. Mm. Now I gotta take a look to see if it's possible. And rigid body. What happens if I do both? No. Yeah, let's not mess with this for now. Okay. No. Wait. Why is it so hard to find mission? Let's see. Yeah, it's been so long. Particle systems are so annoying. Oh, okay. That helps. Okay. There you go. So we have all these selected. Object. Rigid body. Add active. Yes. Okay. There we go. I am still streaming, right? Just making sure my computer didn't crash. Interesting. I did not expect them to start dancing all of a sudden. Maybe partially because they're probably way too heavy. Okay, so if I change a property in this one, will it move? No, it will not move over. Okay, so how do we affect all of them? I'm a little confused here. Okay. Like we can, no, wrong tool. We can see all of them here. Ah, okay. Okay, so now here we go. We can do mass. Just do a custom. I don't know. 0.1 pounds. All right. This. Still getting some of them to dance. But they do claim to be 0 pounds, which might be part of the problem. Okay. So go to rigid body, let's go ahead and calculate mass, custom, let's just do 0.1 for now, or 0.2. I'm a little confused why the mass isn't showing up. This is the only passive object. If anyone has an idea on that. I really don't like rigid bodies. They seem so simple. They're harder than liquid simulations. Liquid simulations are actually quite easy until you have to manipulate them. When you have to manipulate them, that's whenever it gets tricky. But rigid bodies are just flat out hard to mess with. Especially mass rigid body simulations like this. Okay. Okay. Let's focus on one of these. Actually, let's delete all of these and start over. We'll get eventually. The weird streaming is weird because it feels like it feels like it's super slow. But this is normal work pace, I guess. At least for me. Actually, I might work a little bit faster depending on the circumstances. Because I am, like, checking things back and forth while I'm streaming. But otherwise, it can feel like you just have to pick up the pace. Let's see. Okay. That is fine. Still, yeah. Move that over here. Okay. And apply this. Okay. AP selection. Actually, what did I just do? Oops. Okay, once I get this done, I might go get a drink, and I'll let this bake too. Alright, got that. Select cube 2 as our first one. We'll apply this, the rigid body, and we'll just work with this for now. Let's do 0.1, and just see how this plays out. Oops. Okay. I don't know if that means we need a higher mass, or... What if we change this to mesh? Okay. It doesn't seem to matter too much. Shape. We probably could say it's a cylinder. Could probably encapsulate. Oh, hey, you know, that might help if the origin is in the right place, right? Rigid body sims. You see what I'm saying? There's like so many weird like things that you don't account for. Okay, what's cube 1? No. Delete that. You don't want you. Okay. Set origin to center of volume for each of these. Perfect. Okay, there we go. Looks pretty good. So run it through. Bounces. Interesting. Okay. Box is fine. Bounciness doesn't really need to be bouncy. Trying to not be bouncy. If I turn friction up, let's see max friction. What does max friction do? What happened? Okay, let's see what 0 friction. Awesome. And then 0.5 friction. Wait, it's still going through. Why does it go through when it's a box, but not when it's a mesh? This is something I do not understand. Yeah, mesh or... Convex all mesh. Okay, mesh is fine. Honestly, bouncing is not the worst thing either. I'm fine with it bouncing. Okay, if I set to 2 bounce. Yeah. Hmm. 0.04. Okay, what if we turn that all the way up? The damping. Or is it just gonna like lol? And let's do mesh. Let's see. Okay, for this scale, the sensitivity. If we set that to 0.1, will that make it closer to the table before it starts doing its little dance here? Not really. So a little bit dampening might help, but I'm not sure. Just jumping off the cliff. If your macaroni friends jumped off a cliff, would you too? No, I don't follow. I lead. Bounciness. 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 Man, I wouldn't think turning up the bounciness would help it, but like, we could just try. Didn't affect it. I don't know, if you dropped a... Would it bounce about that much? Actually, probably. I do not have a problem with it bouncing, thinking about it now. It's probably not the worst thing. And let's try it and bake it. rigid body effects. Copy from active. So all of these should have this. Now I'll select all of these. Then I'm going to take a little bit of a break for a second as I let this bake. I'll be right back. Let's see, object. Rigid body. Bake to keyframes. And keyframes, frame step. Alright. I wonder if I can get back quicker than this can bake. I'm gonna guess it's gonna bake super fast. I'm gonna leave and then it's gonna be sitting here for like 2 minutes. So I'll be right back. Go. It didn't start, did it? Of course. And oh, it did start. It's just severely wanting to crash right now. Hopefully it doesn't crash. I'll be back. I didn't save either. I was worried about this. I'm back. If you can hear me. Yeah, let's see. Alright, Oh, you guys can't see it. Yeah, it's just... It's crashing right now. Attempting to. Well, it shouldn't crash. I mean, let's see. No, my CPU and GPU are not, like, struggling here. They're fine. They're at, like, 50%. So, while we're waiting for that, let's just play it out. Let's see. So, we'll have the first one with some it falling from a bowl. I'm thinking about doing another scene where like we're just looking at kind of like a I don't know, just kind of like a wall, like a just colored wall, and in the center there's a little mac and cheese bowl, same mac and cheese bowl, hopefully. These two are the same. And yeah, give me a bigger marker here. And then we can have more mac and cheese falling from the sky. We'll be a little bit zoomed out here though. Then, I wonder if it'd be possible to make kind of like a kaleidoscope effect. Have to think about that a little bit more. So, I'm trying to think about product renders. We could work a little bit more on our mac and cheese bowl detail so we can use it across scenes. I'm trying to think something else that's very specific to mac and cheese as well. Maybe like a wooden spoon. That'd be pretty cool. We should work on that if this doesn't crash. Let's see. If I just look up mac and cheese on Google. Let's see what pops up. Let's see what we can find. There are some song-specific stuff to for the artist that I'm making the visualizer for that we could work on, but I'm not not 100% sure I can do that on stream exactly. But let's see. Yeah, we could definitely do some more different product type stuff where it just kind of like the mac and cheese, like maybe like there's one mac and cheese right here, and then like it as it's floating through the sky, copies of it come like this way, like little variations of macaroni on its side come out, and then they all come back to the center after a second, so like they expand and then contract back, getting more of that like kaleidoscope effect. We could have bacon fall from the sky. That'd be fun. Bacon. Another weird thing, brainstorming on stream. Can be easier or harder. I don't know. And now I'm just looking at yummy food. Fried macaroni bites. Crispy fried homemade mac and cheese bites. Okay, I just gotta show this. Who made this? Okay, Mike Baker's New York City. I hope you'll allow me to use this image. I must show it. I'm sorry. It's too good. If I lived in New York City, I'd come and get your food, but sorry. I'm in the Midwest. Come on. Yay. There we go. Okay, look at these things. Mac and cheese bites. Do those not look delicious? Keep looking the wrong way, because this is my monitor, but this is the camera. Yeah, but don't those look delicious? Just look at that. Mac and cheese bites. Fried mac and cheese bites. Those look so good. Okay, and then there's like one person here that I'm looking at who put broccoli in their mac and cheese. I don't have a problem with broccoli, but I don't know if it should be in mac and cheese. Do. Wooden spoons. Yeah, kind of like a farm rustic look. Kind of what I'm going for. I should probably pull my color palette down too at some point. I have one. Then my dog. Really should have saved, shouldn't I? Okay. I think I'll have to close Blender. I'm sorry, Blender. I don't know what's going on. I just wanted to bake my keyframes. my computer fans visibly or audibly got quieter. Okay. Okay, I don't think this is where I was at, but it's the one before that. Okay, I can take that. Yeah, that's reasonable. All right, this time we're gonna save before we start simulating. And hopefully it doesn't crash this time. Okay, let's do this. Apply a rigid body, make it like 0.2 of a pound, convex solve, blah blah blah. Okay. Okay, that is a little somewhat troublesome. Let's change this to box to mesh. I don't know why it works better that way, but it does. Convex solve. Okay, now I'm having a little bit of trouble with it. Okay. Mesh, base. Maybe, oh wait, maybe I need to make this a little bit heavier. Could make a cylinder. Oh wait, hey, yep, I forgot about that. Select all these, including this one. Guess it helps if your origin is where your mesh is. Okay, and no, I don't want the camera selected. Come on. Yay, there's it. Alright, there we go. That should help. Cylinder, mesh. Bouncing, but I guess that's probably how it should be. That doesn't look too bad. Okay. And then go ahead and select all your objects. This is where we're gonna save. I'm gonna save right here. Save, save. Actually, I'll save after this, but no. There we go. Okay. Objects. Rigid body. Copy it. Make sure the one that we added the rigid body to is the active one. objects, save here, objects, rigid body, copy from active, save here. Alright, this is bake to keyframes. Okay. I wonder if it's the geometry. We could turn down the geometry next time if that's the problem. I suspect it is. Just too much geometry to handle. You really should be able to handle this though. Maybe instead of turning on the geometry, because I do want to get close-ups with the camera, maybe I turn down the, maybe I'd change the mesh type to, like, cylinder. Okay, yeah. Yeah. This is the active one. Just change it to cylinder. Object, rigid body, copy from active, save, object, rigid body, bake to keyframes, start frame. Alright. What was that? Okay, so what I think is happening yeah, this is way too big. Okay, turned down the margin by a lot. I probably turned it down too much, but we'll find out. Save, rigid body, and bake to keyframes. Okay. That looks like it did something that we wanted it to. Like, first time forever. That's kinda good. Perhaps if we applied the location to it, that would also help. Okay. That was pretty good for that. Okay, I'm gonna turn down this panel. That worked very well. Rigid body. How can I rebake? There we go. Okay. apply location. And we're gonna have to redo this completely again in just a minute, but that's okay. At least we know how to do it, and we know that works. And bake the keyframes. I wonder why it's so weird about this. It shouldn't be. Let's see. Weird. So I assumed it was the table, but maybe I'm wrong. Hmm. They go out though. They didn't seem to go out very. Because they're all on the ground by that time. 0.01 maybe? Okay, hold on. Just gonna change this margin. I'm sure there's a better way to select all these objects, but I do not know how. Hopefully it was just the margins on the table itself that was keeping it above the table for some reason. I didn't check. I should have checked if it went, how far it went off the table. That could have been how I could know if it was margins. Hey, that worked. Wait, are there like there's some that got cut inside the table? Interesting. Okay. Mesh. Source. Okay. Okay. Let's see it from the camera's view. And we can determine how we want the shot to be set up exactly. Yeah, we also want this kind of in slow-mo. So let's see. Let's work on setting up some camera settings here. 24 frames a second is probably fine. And we'll, and this aspect ratio is fine. Okay, so I need these to go in slow-mo. Let's see. So we could... Yeah, do we just change the rate of gravity? Wait, actually, do we just... I wonder why baking is so hard. Because aren't these baked? Essentially? Okay. Maybe I did not have to do the baking process after all. Maybe that was a completely unnecessary process. Oh, interesting. So some of them roll because they're cylinders. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. 32 feet. Negative 32 feet per second. Let's do like half that. Let's do 15 feet a second. Okay. I need to do 1 foot a second. Yeah, somewhere around there. Maybe half that even. And then I wonder if I can do mesh. Please tell me I can do mesh. I don't want to crash this simulation. I don't want to push my luck too far, but doing mesh would make a lot of things look a little bit better. We're not gonna stay on the scene too long, so viewers won't have too much time to focus on it, hopefully, but it might replay a few times over the course of the music lyric video, so the better the quality, since there's not too much detail, would be better, preferably. Okay, and play. Uh-oh. Yeah, it's crashing on me. Oh. Maybe there's, you could use capsule or something like that. That would help. Okay. Let's just close this. I actually have some pretty good textures from the macaroni and the cheese. It looks pretty good. I figured out the subsurf from yesterday. Hopefully I can get to that. And stream for like till 4, so Central Standard Time. Yeah. Stupid OBS. Okay. Hmm. Capsule. Convex hole. So I don't want to do the direct match, but maybe convex hole might work. Alright, crossing my fingers here. Hopefully computer doesn't crash. Slow, but I can work with this. This is workable. Colliding with table. Yeah, that's a lot smoother than um, the cylinders, but that'll work great. This, yeah, convex will work perfectly for this. Cylinders work pretty well too. They'd be the next best alternative. Capsule might work, but I'm afraid it would roll too much. If you could make the cylinders so that they always box on the macaroni the same way, there's probably a way to do that, but I don't want to get there. Okay. Okay. That's pretty good. Let's see here. Let's turn off the cheese and the macaroni instances here. And just look at the table. I don't really, like, from like just a general view, you're like, I don't see any intersecting, not going through the table. I mean, the physics are a little weird, but like, yeah, it kind of looks like they're sliding a little bit more than you think they would. But, because, like, they're, they'd be a little bit more jelly. And to make them jelly, then I need to run cloth sims or a soft. I need to run a soft body on each of them, and I don't think that's something I can handle. So this will do. Okay, let's turn gravity down even more. Is this? I'm assuming you can animate it. Yeah. You can animate gravity. Whoa. I wonder if you turn gravity down, does that make it run the simulation a little bit faster? Actually, it does. Because, like, you're moving less per. I don't know how well. I don't know how much that would affect the simulation. Because, like, the collisions still happen, so. Also, why is this one right here just moving so fast? Okay, it's like play the game of like when you're looking at your windshield and you're watching the raindrops fall. Which one do you think will hit the ground first? I'm gonna vote for this one. Actually, well, this one's gonna hit the ground. I vote this one's gonna hit the ground before that one does. And which one's gonna hit first? And any second now, any second now, any second now. Oh, that one did hit first. And then this one right there. I wonder how much of my time is wasted from just like watching simulations and compiling JavaScript or compiling Java, right? I spend way too much time compiling and running physics sims, IK joints, things like that. I guess I'll just let this play through real quick. I need to work more on some of our videos, but you know, I'm kind of enjoying streaming and just doing this. Speaking of graphics, have you seen the new specs for the Nintendo Switch? I don't know the exact hardware specs, but like everything else looks pretty good on it. Let's see, Nintendo Switch 2 specs. Let's see. So yeah, the base one, kind of just a standard screen. It's a little bit bigger than the original Switch, but I don't want to show any pictures because I don't know. That's somewhere that I feel like I could get into copyright. But the hardware performance is impressive. Oh, hey, my simulation's done. Looks pretty good. The hardware specs look pretty good. Like the fact that I can run 4K, 60 FPS. I question that with some of the games that are on the release list, but I mean that seems pretty good for the system. I mean, that's usually what I have this PC running at. I can get it to run 160, not 4K. Well, yeah, 4K. I can get it running 60 4K. But it's impressive for that small of a system. And the fact that they showed the reel of it being able to play Mario Kart stream, let's see. Let's see here. Like this, like see, they're able to stream a live camera feed, live not green screening, but live cutout, live rotoscope your image, be able to stream multiple players and to play a game all at the same time is just crazy for that hardware. I wonder how well it'll work with like bigger games, but nonetheless, it's still pretty impressive, and it is still pretty impressive for the price point they have it. I mean, yeah, I can do the same thing on my PC for free, but like individual plans for Nintendo Online are still pretty good per month. I heard Pirate Software talking about what was it like $4 a month. Nintendo Switch 2 online pricing. And I know people talking about like the whole price and things, but like the console, it's a console. It's console gaming. Console gaming will always be more expensive in the short run. Will always be more expensive, but you get so much just like that you don't have to worry about anymore. It's completely portable. It's set up. The Joy-Cons are so accessible now, and just like look at the things that are packed in it. So I mean, it's the console gaming experience, yes, but like, is your PC portable? Can you get that performance? Could you? You can't make the Switch. You personally cannot make the Switch. It's not like a hobbyist product they could design, you know, because I've thought about like designing things before, but those are all things I can build with an ESP32 in my garage or something like that, or like reasonably build with consumer products. That the Switch is not something you can reasonably build. Even PS4 and Xbox now you can reasonably come close to a build, especially since PS4 exclusives are now is it the PS4 exclusives? Yeah, they're now on desktop. So I see this as a huge win, and the fact that they got so many games with Nintendo Direct that are big name releases coming to Switch. I think their marketing department or their deals department with other game companies has been working very hard. So I don't know. I'm pretty impressed with that. It'll be fun to see what not like hackers, but well, I guess hardware hackers. It'll be fun to see what they come up with and what they can figure out. Delete that before we get copyright striked. Okay. So back to this. A little bit of movement, but like still pretty good. Okay, let's. So if I was looking in the midst of this, what would it look like? Still a little bit too fast in my opinion. Just really slow it down. Oh, okay. We'll let that bake. Definitely goes faster the slower gravity is. I'm not sure exactly the difference in the calculations. Like, I mean, I guess it's less to add up, but I don't. Adding still doesn't take that long. I guess repeated. I guess there are force vectors involved, but I don't know. Less collisions in the start. We got like 1.6 frames a second. But yeah, the new Nintendo Direct looks pretty good. I'm interested also what they're gonna do with the Zelda franchise, because I'm personally that's my favorite series. I think the Age of Calamity style for Tears of the Kingdom is gonna be really interesting. I do hope they update a few of the mechanics for the that kind of game style. Um, but really, it's still top tier. I'm really surprised there wasn't like a ton of hype outside of streamers for like the for Tears of the Kingdom, but it was a stellar game. So it's also interesting to see how that was the newest Zelda game. See how much I know. New Zelda game. Yeah, Echoes of Wisdom. It was interesting to see how Echoes of Wisdom did, and it did fairly well. I did not personally play that one, but it looked very enjoyable. It looked fine as like a puzzle game. I will probably play it at some point because I do want to know how the ending and how all that works. Also, just seems like a fun kind of challenging game. I want to know also how well these Zelda games are going to be interconnected into the Zelda frame, like with their hierarchy, because the lore goes deep, and I want the lore to continue. So I don't know if they've placed how Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom exactly fits, because obviously the timeline from Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Wait. Oh wait. Let's see. It's a decent macaroni falling speed. I'll make it even slower. And that's probably slow enough. I'll let that bake. Okay, let's see. Zelda timeline. Okay, so yeah, there's the Run from Majora's Mask, A Link in the Past, and then the Wind Waker kind of timeline, the Adult Era, Child Era, and then the Light in the Dark Era, Hyrule Warriors. Wait. And that was... So yeah, we have Hyrule Warriors where they came together, but that doesn't really... Did that explain it? I don't think that explained it. And then we also have that going into the Breath of the Wild prequel. And then you have the Calamity was prevented into Age of Calamity, and then Calamity again. Where will um my question is, like, where will this this new game fit into the timeline? I'm sure people have already figured that out, but like, let's look here. Because will it follow right after Era of Peace? But then it'd have to follow way after this to be after the timelines of Tears of the Kingdom. But then, do you see the Zoratech in Age of Calamity? I don't think so. Well, wait, yeah, you kind of do. It kind of depends what you consider. So anyways, I don't know where this is going to fit in. Will this break... So will this break the timeline again? Because these are definitely consecutive, right? So wait, will we have a third world where this happens, and we'll have a third world where we have a Age of Calamity for Tears, and then it goes down into Tears of the Kingdom normal? No. I'm not sure. I'm sure everything will be revealed in time. Okay, back to the mac and cheese bowl. Oh wait, we're still baking? It's coming back around to where it about was. Shouldn't it have baked by now? What? Fix my posture. Come on, you can make it. You can make it slowly, slowly, slowly. You're almost there. How many more frames? 20 more frames. 15 more frames. Done. Okay. What is going on here? What's that about? I'm gonna guess it's two that are close together. Yep, that's what happens. There are two that will end up being... Okay, so we can fix that with a Poisson disk in the geometry nodes whenever we redo this. And then that way we don't have intersecting ones, and that way they don't do this. But otherwise... Let's see this in real time. Oh, hold on a second. All right, we're good. I'm gonna stop in just a minute or two, but let's lock in before I leave, and let's try to get somewhere recognizable with the simulation. I'm sure I'm gonna work on this more before Monday. That's probably when I'll be back on streaming. So if you want to see me, join me then. We'll be streaming. All right. I don't know if we'll be working on this specifically. I'm gonna be working on this visualizer for the next few days, but there are some other things I want to get to. I want to get to let's see. Yeah, I want to get to several things. I don't know if you guys hear that. Sorry, there was a car alarm that went off. Okay, lock-in time. I'm sorry, I gotta delete all of you guys. You guys were very helpful for testing, but you guys are not part of the final product. Okay. Oh, I also named all my objects here. They look a lot better now. Okay. Did I not name? No, that's fine. Okay. Actually, this is good. Okay. Ooh, this is a. Density, distribute points in volume. Okay, so the only problem is some of these are intersecting. So if I change that, will that help? The voxel amount. Yeah, it's definitely packing more in some way. I'm not exactly sure how it's affecting it. I mean, obviously, if we decrease the density, we decrease the probability that two are in contact with each other. But instead, we could make layers of planes. We could make layers of planes, and then we could distribute points normally on faces, rather. That's what I did with this mac and cheese bowl itself here. And you know what? While I'm... Okay. Yeah, let's see. Or we could just have some fast-moving ones in the background. We could have it that way. I don't think we need to realize instances. I just hate to redo this system. Okay, distribute points on faces. Instances on points. This can still control the density. That works. That is still way too many. 100. Okay. Instead of a cube, what we're gonna do? X vertices. I'm gonna make a plane. Let's go ahead and set origin to, let's see, geometry to origin. Definitely don't need it that big. Maybe like, let's make it the same, roughly the same size as the table. Make sure we set the scale. Let's do an array. Let's make this go up on the Z. Where is this thing? Yo, I just want you to move. Okay, we'll have a constant offset then. Okay, there we go. So we have a plane here, and then that plane gets duplicated up. How far do you want this to start? I'll have it start up here. That'll give me plenty of time. Make sure to apply, just apply all transforms here. We'll make, how many layers do we want? I mean, not quite that many. 15 should be good. 15 layers of mac and cheese noodles. And at what density do we want? This is a pretty good density. I'll turn it up just a little bit. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll duplicate this so we have a backup. Then I'll take this, we'll apply both modifiers to that, we'll apply apply both modifiers to that. Wait, what? Apply. Oh, okay, so we do need to realize the instances. Now can I apply? There we go. Okay. Apply the instances. Tab in here. Oh, I did not use Poisson disk to make sure there's no intersecting. And yeah, these are high geometry. That's okay, we do want that detail. We can just use a lower detail for the convex hull, or the rigid body. It'll automatically do that for us. So great. Not random. Distance minimum 0.1 inch. I think that's probably a good amount. Let's see here. What is this? It's 1 inch across. No way. It's 4 inches across. I'm confused. Guess they're like ½ inch. Yeah, well, yeah, because this one's on its side. Let's do a 1/4 inch. That should cover it. Okay, save that. Apply that. Tab into edit mode, P, move by selection. Oops. P, by a loose part. Okay. Now, with this one, we will add a rigid body simulation. Active 0.05 pounds. I'm assuming gravity. We are much longer, like, let's make it 10,000 frames. Let's go ahead and wait for this to fall just to see what happens. Wait, what? Oh, right. Yeah, also take all of these, and I do have them all selected, right? Wow, there's a lot of these. Okay, this is when I wonder if I can click collections. If I cannot click collections, I just scrolled up for nothing. Is there any way select objects? There we go. Yay, okay. And set origin to center maximum. Okay, there we go. And now let's watch a macaroni very, very slowly fall to the ground. I just want to make sure that this works. Still stopped at... Is there some kind of world setting? Simulation? I think it's default set to like 250. Weird. Let's see. Just look it up. Simulation won't go past 250 frames. Blender. Coming to a stopping point in just a minute, but in value to in section. Rigid body, and then is there a cache for this? That's what I was told from Google. Rigid body world cache. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, maybe not 10,000. Let's make it 2,000 frames. There we go. Okay, let's watch this slowly fall, make sure that works, and then from there, we'll keep adjusting settings until we can get this one where we like it, and then we can apply that to all the others, and hopefully not crash my computer in the process. I already know there's a lot of things I need to change about this. Let's see. I want to see how well it bounces or what it does here. Oh wow, not too much bounce. That's about what I want it to do. Margins are good. Man, I like that. Okay. Let's give it 2000 frames to work with. Select all the objects in here with that one as our main. Is there any way to rename all these? I don't think so. That's okay. I should have renamed it before I did that. But that's okay. We might change it again. Hopefully not. Okay. Rigid body. Copy from active. I'm just going to check the active again. Convex. Okay. And then... Okay, pause. There we go. Yep, it's working very, very slowly. Alright, so I guess I'll let it bake with you guys for a little bit. We'll see how it turns out. While we're at it, let's see. If you guys have anything, if you guys have any cool ideas for things you guys want me to do with 3D modeling, I haven't done any programming on this channel yet, but I'm looking to do that in the future. Thinking at some point next week I'm gonna do some LeetCode problems live. You know, I kind of find them fun, and I'm a little bit behind because I've been working on doing more streaming and shorts. So also, I think it'd be really fun to do live work on SDL game library stuff. I've been kind of wanting to. I've been working on in Blender making an applied mathematics library with geometry nodes. I originally tried to make my own custom rendering with SDL. I have a few friends who have done that. I was like, that's super cool. I was wondering if I could probably do the same, just like completely from scratch, but I know that's like really, really, really hard. I don't know if I want to dedicate the time to do that, but it'd be fun to just play around with SDL. Remember getting something to work. I think the most interesting thing about working with SDL is because you're working with such of the base hardware, and you're working like with direct software that's talking to it. It runs so fast that my delta time could not be stored in a standard float, or obviously it couldn't be stored in float. It couldn't be standard, couldn't be held in standard double or float. I guess if you're working with Unity, you can usually hold your delta time in a float to get accurate enough approximations. But my was so fast that it was in seconds, but the units couldn't fit inside a double. So I had to find a smaller time scale, or I had to find a larger decimal point variable. So it's very efficient in some way. You're the if it's not running efficiently, you're the problem. I don't know. I can't really tell if it's moved down too much. I was looking away. But yeah, maybe playing with stuff like that. There's some 3D modeling things that I want to try. If you guys want to check this out. So I was thinking about like guitars the other day. I really want to do this modeling challenge. Really long time ago, I 3D modeled the guitar, and the interesting thing about a Stratocaster is that they have these cuts right here for well, your rib cage, but they're really I was able to do it all in one subdivision surface model piece. I also have this curve here, and they're kind of like intersecting each other, and it's weird how the bevels come together. I wanted to come back to that for a while and just kind of design that. There's also some other things I want to design, working with like displacement maps and sculpting and things like that. I mean, these are just kind of standard modeling things. Some of them are a little bit harder to do, though. I think it would just be fun to play around with. So, but like, interesting thing about this, modeling a true Stratocaster car with subdivision surface modeling is insanely difficult for just there's so many like logistical things. Also, making the neck in one piece as a subdivision surface model. So look at it. So this is fine. The back is curved. Okay, that's kind of weird. So you have to make this edge sharp. Not too big of a deal. If you want, and I'm always talking about modeling things super accurately too. I mean, obviously, if you were on a time cut or budget or something like that, you probably just wouldn't take the time. Like, no one's gonna like super care if you forgot to put the cut in for an animation, especially if it's a background asset or prop. Probably no one's gonna see it. But if you're doing it properly, you can also see this little neck. It kind of curves in that bevel, and then also, let's see if I can set this down. Doing this with one piece where it comes into the neck and then flattens out and then makes this shape is really hard because you end up with a whole bunch of loop cuts from the neck. Also, if you're making a guitar neck properly, then it's a little bit just slightly rounded in the front as well. Anyways, all these things put together just makes it a little bit hard. Other than that, I mean, most of the time the guitar is pretty easy to build. But to do the main body and neck all in one or all in two subdivision surface model pieces is a really interesting modeling challenge for edge loops. If you want to get a crash course in edge loops, actually, if you want to get a crash course in edge loops, I'd recommend checking out Blender Guru's video, his old chair 3D modeling video. I think it's still pretty up to date. You could still follow along with the modern Blender versions, but yeah, if you want a crash course in subdivision surface modeling, guitar is an interesting one. If you want to do it like 100%, like every little pinpoint detail, the edge loops on that thing is so hard because like there's just so many weird intersecting edge loops that go in multiple dimensions and things like that. I'm assuming because originally I'm assuming this wasn't designed in CAD. I assumed it was designed by hand. The original was designed by hand in some way, so I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm talking about like specific about Stratocaster guitars. Telecasters, other types of guitars are actually pretty easy to model. But for some reason, Stratocaster guitars are just a nightmare for edge loops. I'd love to come back to that. Let's see. Anyways, there's some other fun stuff, stream stuff, video stuff that I'd love to come back to. Hopefully should be able to stream Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays. I don't think I'll be able to stream Thursdays like I did yesterday normally, but we'll see. I'll try to stream and do videos as often as I can, of course. Okay. Still not quite there, but I should have enough frames for this. Not too worried about 2,000 frames should be plenty. I'll probably back it up, hopefully. Hopefully I have enough frames where I can just kind of back it up a little bit so I don't need that many frames. But, you know, I'm not going to be a stickler for having too much footage. I'll take all the footage I can get. I have a feeling this is going to be one of those things, though, that I'm going to have to do and then step away for rendering and then come back to and step away from rendering and then come back to. So we'll see. I don't think I have time to stream Saturday, probably not, but if I am, come by and check me out here. By the way, I was doing the texturing yesterday. I would turn on rendering right now, except I'm kind of baking something, and I really don't want to cook my GPU right now. Or anytime. I really don't want to cook my GPU at all. But uh, Sanctus Library is just like a lifesaver for that stuff. I think it's like the best add-on purchase they've ever made. You should check it out. They have a ton of great dynamic material systems, or like the procedural. They have a ton of great procedural materials. They look great, and it makes it easy to texture. And the dude's always updating the thing. Like, he's always updating it. It's a one-time purchase. I'm not even like subscribed. He's updating that thing as often as Polygon is. I think Polygon definitely has a lot more than he does, but like still, there's just so many, and he keeps adding just like weird things. Like he adds water, he'll add ropes, he'll add decals. Like I didn't even pay for that, and you're just adding it and throwing it in. Like there's also just random stuff like cupcakes for some reason. Actually, I have it right here. I don't know if I can how well I can access it. Well, yeah, we got assets. We got neon signs. We got decals. We got just like tons of flooring assets. Sorry, it's a little slow with this. We got everything from experimental, stylized. Let's see, what's in stylized? We got custom stylized wood planks. Those could be very useful. Oh, you know, I should add something here. It reminds me. There's another project I want to do. I have a lot of like thumbnail sketches that I've just kind of been wanting to model. Maybe if I can get this drop down to work. Let's see here. Wood, water, fabrics. Fabrics are interesting because they're super hard to like make. Hit bubble wrap. Wait, they have bubble wrap? That's actually pretty cool. Yeah, we got like wool, velvet, superhero cape kind of thing, leather. Anyways, I guess definitely one of the best purchases. I mean, hard ops and box cutter are pretty up there too. You know, hard surface modeling is also something would be fun to stream. There's tons of good stream ideas. I don't know. Sorry, I keep adding to my list. Okay, we're finally getting touchdown here with the macaroni. You know what? I probably should have put collision, or like a collision box over my my macaroni bowl here. I'm probably have to redo this at some point. I already figured I would though, with different things. Man, I have 0 dropped frames. Granted, 30 frames a second, but like it was streaming 2 hours. 0 dropped frames. I've been running simulations. I don't know if I dropped any frames last stream. But I mean, that's pretty good. I don't think Blender can say the same. I think it's been dropping a few frames for me. Well, not dropping. Just been like going at 0.7 frames a second. It's looking pretty good. Collisions are happening pretty well. I haven't seen them explode out into the distance like left and right, so that's good. There's some other physical things I want to work on too. I have some 3D modeling uh, business entrepreneurial stuff that I should probably get into. You'll probably see some videos and shorts coming out in the near future about that. Maybe I'll show you guys live sometime. But for now, this kind of focus of, or at least like my focus for 3D modeling and programming right now is working on getting this visualizer done. If you're tuning in, by the way, I'm working on making a visualizer for my cousin. I guess I say it now. I'm working on a visualizer for a friend, cousin of mine who has a song about mac and cheese. So no sense in holding that back now. So just kind of working on a little visualizer here. And this should be scene one. I don't know, how long did I stream last time? 50 minutes? Streamed about 2 hours now. 1 hour and 58 minutes right now, so worked on this for about 3 hours. Which is fair, because I have not touched Blender in a while, so I'll take that. Still not completely sure on the second scene, but I think they'll all use some of the same assets, so I should be able to share them. Looks like I'll only need about 1500 frames for this. What's that? I'm at 24 frames a second, so how much time is that? 1500 divided by 24. Yeah. 62 seconds of footage. That's plenty of footage. The song's only like 3 minutes. 2 minutes? 3 minutes? And we'll have about, I'm playing about like 3-4 scenes, give or take. They don't have anything stellar, but we'll have them repeating in the background. We'll sync some lyrics up to music in the foreground. We'll have kind of a foreground. We'll have this as the background for the visualizer, and then we'll have like a foreground element that's kind of shifting and changing. I'm trying to figure out how to get that kind of kaleidoscope effect, but I'm sure it'll all come together. I think there's probably another good week of work with this. I'm sure I won't be working on the solve next week, so looks like we're coming to a good place with the simulation. Slowly moving. What if I click away so that way I'm not selecting all these objects? That will help. Do anything I can to improve performance. Honestly, that looks pretty cool though, the mac and cheese. I was going for that bowl to be porcelain. I probably need to make the texture myself. Porcelain's not a hard texture. I might be able to make kind of a, not a specular map, but like a, is it like a sheen map? I don't know, like with a Voronoi texture to help with like the porcelain kind of look. Something about porcelain that's kind of weird because like it just seems like a shiny white material. There's a material in Sanctus Library that I've been using for it, and it looks just fine. I don't think anyone will look too much. I think technically it's classified under a plastic though, but it's kind of hard to tell the difference. I don't know exactly the parameters of that specific material, so it looks pretty good. I really wanted to show you guys my mac and cheese textures, but I guess we'll have to wait till Monday when I stream again, or if I post a video before that, because at this point running this and GPU is not a good idea. I probably should have checked if I can enable, because my CPU says it's not working at 100%, which is fine. It doesn't need 100% CPU. In fact, it's like at 30, but surely I could use like more CPU cores for this, right? You'd think. I can only imagine working at like Disney or Pixar and being in charge of rendering, because like you would start a render and then it would be forever. Like it would take years to render, something like that. Not years, but like, you know, a significant, at least like a significant portion of a year to render with all your machines. And by the time you're done, like you realize, imagine you just realize you forgot to enable CUDA. Or like a new version of NVIDIA comes out that increases the efficiency of ray tracing by so much or something like that, you know. I don't know, how long did Toy Story take to render? I let's see. I read about somewhere. How long did Toy Story 4 take to render? Some of the most complex shots took over 12,000 hours to render per frame, with one frame taking 325 hours. I mean, you can really see the difference though, like with how all the lighting in Toy Story 4 is. It's just so much better. I mean, you're also working with, they had to render it for 4K, multiple movie theaters. I can't imagine they're, because I'm sure they're using some custom rendering, right? Right? I don't know, but I'm sure they have their own color spaces and things like that. Just like so much to bog down those machines. I can't imagine 12,000 hours per frame, 325 hours per frame. That was from Gemini, so I don't know how trustworthy it is, but like, I'm assuming it got it from a source. So like 325 hours for a frame is still insane. Because like, I know like there's the 90-10 rule. It depends on. I've heard a lot of different rules, but like, you know, you're gonna spend 90% of your effort on the last 10% of work. Well, you're gonna spend like artists are gonna spend like just tons of time waiting, sitting back for to get their one design feedback from the director, and he's gonna be like, "It's terrible. Redo it all." And then it takes forever to render and get it back to them. It just makes the process. I guess you just don't render fully for most of the movie. You have a compositing team that takes a few of the scenes, makes sure all the lighting's good on them, applies that effect to all the scenes, and hopes it turns out all right. And then if it doesn't, you redo it a few times and a few times more until it's to your liking. I guess it's just a long process, but try to get as few people involved as you need to. Try to keep the animators, 3D modelers, even texture people not having to render all that on a daily basis for their job. Leave their job to just perfecting 3D models, perfecting this, perfecting that. Because hopefully they are independent from each other. 3D models, texturing, and then roughly. Alright, let's stop this and play it back. And then I think I'll leave you guys for the day. But thank you guys for watching. And as we watch macaroni fall from the sky, I think this is a good way to end. Hope you guys all have a good day, and guys join me, feel free to join me anytime I'm streaming, probably Monday, Thursday, Wednesday, Friday, preferably in the afternoon, so probably 1 to 4, 1 to 5, and you can find me in videos and shorts as well, working on making more of those. Working on this mac and cheese visualizer is pretty fun, so I'd be glad to have any help I can get with you guys joining me, and we'll see you guys soon. Thanks, everyone. Bye.